Redemption Gateway family. I miss you guys, and I'm praying for you, and I am so looking forward to the day when we can see each other face to face. And that's really actually what this video is about. I want to share with you some about our plans for beginning to gather again in person. You'll notice that I'm not saying our plans to reopen. And the reason for that is that the Church of Jesus Christ has never been closed. Never. The Church of Jesus Christ is gloriously open, always has been, always will be. Jesus said that the gates of hell will not prevail against his church. So neither will COVID, neither will any other plans. Nothing will stop the Church of Jesus Christ. And so while we've had to be open, mostly through online experiences and things that are mediated through technology, we do anticipate that in the coming days there will be some opportunities for us to slowly begin to phase in some in-person experiences. And so that's what we're talking about. As you've heard by now, likely, Governor Ducey extended the stay-at-home order that he had put out at the end of March. He's now extended that through the middle of May. And throughout this whole process, we really are trying to listen to the wisdom and the guidelines and the guidance of government and public health officials, and really trying to kind of lean into the ways that they're trying to provide some leadership for our whole state. It's not a job I envy. I look at the things that they have to navigate, and it's really difficult. So I'm praying for them. I hope you will too. But we're going to begin to have in-person experiences to the degree that our state begins to go into the various phases that have been outlined by the federal government. And so really through May 15th, we're going to continue to do things the way we've been doing them. Our hope is that potentially at that point, we might move into a new phase. And so we're going to have kind of a few different phases that we anticipate that are really in line with the guidelines that have been put out by the White House and the Coronavirus Task Force. And so we don't know the timeline on this. We don't know how long it will take our state to move into these various phases, but this is kind of what we anticipate. We are going to continue to do online services until we move into a new phase, and then even beyond that. So in the first phase, we envision there being online services that continue to happen, that will be released every Sunday. And in addition to that, once we're able to meet in groups under 10, we want to begin to form some in-person prayer meetings. These will be prayer meetings that will be a lot like what we did in the past at different points with some 24-hour prayer experiences. We're not thinking that we'll do it 24 hours a day, but that we'll have a few slots every day where people can come in and pray. And I just think there's no better way for us to begin in-person experiences than to do it through prayer. And so that's how we're going to begin those. At some point, we envision moving into a phase where we could have gatherings of under 50 people, still physically distanced. And when that happens, we envision starting some, not worship services, but just some separate in-person gatherings. We'll continue to do the online services each week. But these other in-person gatherings would be kind of these micro services for prayer and for music and for worship and for communion. And so that's what we anticipate happening kind of in that second phase. Again, we'll see how long that lasts. And then at some point, we envision moving into a third phase where we would be able to start having in-person, larger Sunday worship services. And that's our hope that we'll be able to do that at some point in the not too distant future. Even when that happens, we're going to still continue to stream our services online. And so we just realized that there are a significant number of people who will not want to, and who in many cases should not begin to experience in-person things for quite some time. And so we want to continue to support those of you who are in that situation. At the same time, we want to create some experiences following the guidelines of the public health officials that will be the kinds of things that for those who want to have an in-person experience in the coming days, give them the opportunity to do that. So thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your continued encouragement. I find it to be such a blessing to hear from so many of you who are praying for me and praying for us as leaders. And here's the last thing I want to say. I'm burdened about our unity in this season. As we did a survey recently, we found out that basically about 40% of our congregation is raring to go. The moment anything opens, y'all will be there. There's another about 40% of our church who feels really nervous and who feels really concerned and isn't sure that it's quite safe and has some concerns about what that will look like. There's another chunk of people who just aren't going to be coming because of health conditions and other things, no matter what. And so as a church, we are not all in the same place on what we think should happen, what we're going to choose to do. And that's fine. I don't think in any way we need to be in the same place, but we have to love one another. We have to care for one another. We have to stay united. As Christians with a common faith in Christ, have a different sense of conscience on these issues, we are going to stick together. We're going to love one another. We're not going to bite and devour one another. We're not going to post hurtful and difficult things online. We're going to stick together. So that's my prayer for us, and I hope you'll join me in that process. If you have any questions as things develop, please be sure to send them our way. Love you, and hope to see you soon.